You're listening to the Palestine in America podcast. I'm your host, Nader Ihmoud, joined by our guest today, Anis. Anis is a musician, artist, and we'll get to know him a lot more in this episode, so stay tuned. So, hey, thanks for joining me, Anis. What's going on?
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor to be featured.
Yeah, it's awesome to finally get face-to-face with you. I've been following you a lot on Instagram. Love what you do. But can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're based out of, and who you are?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm from outside the DC area. Ethnically, I'm half Palestinian, half Lebanese. And just a little background on myself. I'm an artist. I make hip hop with indie pop vibes to it. I started making music about 2 years ago, and have 3 songs out right now. I just released my song Maybe, which was released just like a little less than a month ago.
How did that feel? I mean, how did that feel releasing that first single, or that your first?
That was crazy, man. That was crazy. So I mean, like, everything I've done to the point of releasing my first single was social media. You know, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, just advertising myself. To be able to finally like put art out for people to interact with without it being through the medium of social media was really refreshing.
I really felt like the hype was definitely there because you did a lot of, I don't know if you would agree with the description, but freestyles, and they were dope. And like every time I heard one, I'm like, I hate that I have to go back all the way to his page if I want to hear, the dope verses that he was spitting. But, it got me hyped up to the point where it's like, well, as soon as he drops finally a single, I'm going to download it. It's going to be in, you know what I'm saying? But it worked, but it also just kept me like wanting more, like wanting to have an easier access to it. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, man, it's like a balancing act. Because on one hand, you want to, in the age of digital media and the age of social media, you've got to be able to deliver content on a regular basis. But at the same time, I know that there's plenty of people out there who don't like to be on social media all the time, but just like art and just like music. And so to be able to be present on those platforms, that to me is, it's important. It's important to give it's a different form of content. It's longer form content. So that's been my end goal. As much as I love social media and as much as I have a fun time like freestyling on Instagram, going on live, to me, the end goal involves like a portfolio of music.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got to this point? What were you doing? What was Anis doing before the freestyles on Instagram and the 3 songs that you dropped so far?
Yeah, definitely. So I was freestyling before all of this. That's all I was doing, just freestyling every day. I finished law school 3 years ago in 2017. And at that point in my life, right as I was about to get my results for the bar exam, I was in a very dark place, like I was not mentally well. Just frankly, I was depressed and I did not like what I was doing. And it was a very tough crossroad to be at, because when you get to that point in your life where you've worked so hard to finally get a degree, and everybody's mind, start that career path, you would think it'd be a time to celebrate. But for me, it was a very challenging place to be at. The whole time I was freestyling. The whole time that was my therapy, was freestyling every day. To law school freestyling, from law school freestyling, with the homies freestyling, with the family freestyling. So,
but not recording it, just to yourself?
No, there's like no recordings. I probably logged like weeks of my life, months of my life freestyling. Yeah. No recording at that point. I mean, the amount of I spent days delivering pizza, freestyling, going on 10-hour road trips, freestyling. So eventually, it got to a point where I was at such a low point that I knew I had to do what I loved, and I had to go for it. Like, I had to break that ice with my family, with my community. And it's challenging because, you do worry about, what are the people going to say? what's going to be the talk behind my back. But at the end of the day, I knew that I had to take care of my heart. I had to take care of my happiness. That had to come first. And that led me to music.
That's an awesome answer, because it leads me to like my next question. Because I mean, even with, and I hate to compare myself, but like even when I went after journalism, like my dad was like, "Shubidak for chocolate," you know, like, and that's kind of like not every parent like reacts that way, but that's the, you know, the stereotypical response that we're expecting
100%.
from our parents.
The Palestinians in America.
Yeah. So I mean, so how was that breaking the ice with them? I mean, were they supportive or?
Yeah, no, it was an interesting process. So I think every parent wants to see their kid have a happy life. They want to see their kid have the means, comfort. They want to see their kid being provided for. And so at the end of the day, you know, whether my parents were going to be supportive or unsupportive of hip hop and music in general, I knew that they would be coming from a place of love. Because I see a lot of, you know, like auto parents who are, you know, very much so like trying to steer their kids on more traditional routes. And I get where they're coming from. Fortunately for me, my parents, they're, I guess in that sense, they're a little non-traditional. They were let me put it this way. They were confused a little bit. They were a little surprised, definitely surprised, but all the while they were supportive.
Yeah.
And
Surprising would be human nature. Cause like you said, like law school, like I went to journalism school, that's 4 years and we were done. Yeah. You went to law school, dude. And then you were like, all right, I'm going to go this way.
Well, especially because, you know, my mom's going to, you know, she's telling every grocery store clerk, my son's in law school. My dad is a lawyer, right? So he's telling all his clients, my son. So to me, it probably would have been easy to stay doing it from a sense of like fear, right? Like, I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to make them look this way. You know, you got appearances and you want
definitely the easier route. If you were thinking, instead of thinking, people look at it as selfish, but it's not selfish because it's mental health. But, you know, like they look at it that way sometimes. It's like, oh, but what about your parents? It's like,
yeah. They did all this to provide.
And I thought I wouldn't understand it until I had a kid.
Yeah.
We want our kid to be happy no matter what. Like that's it. So that's alhamdulillah for that. So when you made that decision, you knew, was it like straight to Instagram? What was the next step for you?
It was many steps walking through like the darkness, getting to the light. So like the first thing I did was like, okay, keep in mind at this point, I'm engaged, right? I'm about to get married at this point.
Oh, so you're not even, okay.
No, so now I'm married, but at the time I was engaged. And so now I've got to explain it, you know, say not just to my parents, but to my in-laws, right? My future in-laws, which again, you worry, what are they going to say? They've been telling everyone their son-in-law's a lawyer, right? And fortunately, just like my parents, they were very supportive. Cool. But I wasn't fully honest with myself. It wasn't like, okay, I'm not using this JD in a traditional way. I'm going straight to music. To me, I was like, okay, I wasn't quite comfortable, confident, and sure of myself yet. So I was like, I asked myself, what's an easy conversion to the creative life that people would understand? And to me, the answer was video. So I told him I was going to get into like vlogging, YouTubing, because to me, that seemed like maybe a little bit more palatable than music, a little more understandable. And I wasn't lying. I had yet to decide that music would be the path. So start the vlog, right? Started a vlog with my best friend, Issa. And we vlogged for a little less than a year. And at one point, he and I decided, okay, this has been fun. He had transitioned from his 9-to-5 work to vlogging the same time I had left the legal path for vlogging. But about a year in, we were like, I think it would be better if we both had our own vlog because we have different experiences, different stories we want to tell. The moment I started doing my own vlog, it all started being about music. And that was just natural. It wasn't like, okay, I want to make this vlog about music. It was like, okay, I'm making this vlog. What do I want to share with these people? I want to sing for them. I want to rap for them. And at that point, the ice was slowly starting to melt and it just became obvious. And at that point, it was like, okay, maybe I should just stop lying to myself. So that's kind of how we got to posting like a 16 on Instagram,
Yeah,
posting in like little rap battle leagues on Instagram, posting covers on YouTube. So that was the next step.
that's dope. That's dope. So what's the end game for all of this? Where 5 years from now, where do you picture? I know it's hard to predict with Corona and everything going on,
Yeah.
but
Hopefully
like,
Corona's gone by then.
in a Walgreens world, where
Yeah. 5 years from now. All right. So like I like to say that I don't have goals, but a vision,
yeah,
right? And my vision long term, like when my final moment comes in life, I want to know that I did everything with my ability, everything with the talents that I was given, to make the world a happier, more joyful, more peaceful, more loving place, right? That, and it sounds corny, but that's really my long term vision. In the next 5 years, I'd like to be making strides toward that. And to me, that looks like performing all around, like not just this country, but abroad. I'd love to see, um, I'd love to see myself working on maybe my third or fourth album at that point. Um, yeah, I'd love to see myself collaborating with some of my favorite artists. Just like getting in that mode of not just me and my audience, but tapping into a much larger listening base. And to be honest with you, 5 years from now, I'd love to be at a place where it's not just art. I mean, it's not just music, because I'm very clear to always tell people, like, when they ask me, it's kind of difficult. What do I explain myself as? I always say I'm an independent artist. And the reason being, if I say I'm a rapper, then they're only expecting hip hop. If I say I'm a singer, then they're only expecting vocals. But as an artist, I can give them hip hop vibes,
right.
vocals, but also as an artist, I can give them maybe literature. I can write for them. Maybe I can give them public speaking. Maybe I can give them, a broader,
Yeah, you're
a
not trying to
broader.
be stuck in a bubble.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in boxing yourself in. So 5 years from now, I want to be out of my box in many ways.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, Sorry, lost my train of thought for 1 second. I mean, perfect. You mentioned it just a second ago. I just caught back on about 5 years from now, collaborating with some of your favorite artists. Who are those? Who are those dream collaborations?
So I'm a believer in manifesting, right? So I'm not gonna pull any punches. I'm gonna throw out like
Palestine America Radio, right here.
100%.
Manifest it.
Yeah, I'm manifesting. I want to collaborate with. I'd love to collaborate with Immortal Technique. I'd love to collaborate with King Los. I'd love to collaborate with John Mayer, J. Cole, Chance the Rapper. Like to me, like if you can't manifest and put it out there that those big time artists are people you're going to collaborate with, then you already have no chance. So for me, those would be incredible artists to collaborate with. But I'd also love to collaborate with India Ari. I'd love to collaborate with Marlon Craft. A lot of names come to mind.
For sure, for sure. I like all those names that you just named, and I could definitely see you vibing with all of them. I'm not gonna lie, the last name, I'm not too sure who that person is, but the rest of them, very familiar with.
Appreciate it.
I'm not gonna stunt like I know who that is, but I'm gonna look them up for sure so I can see.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, look, man, at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to collaboration, it's all about the energy. If the energy is right between you and the person you're collaborating with, you're going to make gold. So like at this point, I'm open-minded. Like it could be someone I don't even really listen to right now. But if I find out that the energy is there, like for instance, I just started listening to this artist. Her name is Lizzie McAlpine or Alpine. I'm not even sure how to say it.
Right.
It's Lizzie. I think her name is Lizzie McAlpine. She is like wondrous, like a storytelling savant. Reminds me of like a female John Mayer, right? Didn't listen to her until like 2 weeks ago. Now that's somebody I want to collaborate with.
Right. That's dope. I mean, that's what I love about music, and also that's kind of what I love about like what I do with Palestine America. It's like getting people to know people that they might have never listened to before. And we kind of touched on it a little bit, but how has, if at all, where you're at, how has the Palestinian community supported you in your music so far?
Dude, that's a wonderful thing that I've experienced. There's this lie that goes around that Arab don't support Arab enough. I don't know if that's true in other people's lives, but it has been so false in my life from the very, very, very beginning, it's been Palestinians that have promoted me. It's been Palestinians that have surrounded me on Instagram Live. It's been Palestinians that have shared me on their Instagram stories. And that's just been humbling. It's been incredibly humbling. And when I say Palestinians, I mean like Palestinians in America, but I also mean Palestinians in Palestine and Palestinians abroad. Like it's very humbling to see how the people of Palestine want to see their own on that big screen. They want to see their own elevating. They want to see their own not just surviving, but thriving. And to me, I've always been proud of my Palestinian roots. I've always been proud of that side of who I am. But ever since I became, an artist, that pride is only intensified.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, when you do see that support, it's dope. I do hear that criticism that Arabs don't support Arabs enough. And I mean, it really is, I think it's case by case basis. Like there's always generalizations. Like people
And
are
I'm sure it
like,
happens. I'm sure it
oh
happens.
yeah, like I've said it before, even about my magazine. I said, oh man, they could support me more. You know what I mean? Because you get frustrated. But it's on but it's on me to market myself better than I see that. I don't look at it as it's their fault, it's my fault. I'm probably not getting it out in front of them as good as I could be. So yeah, so I could definitely that's you could see it both ways.
100%.
A good question that I have for you is, what kind of future would you like to see for the diaspora of Palestinians in music? So other like
music
Palestinians like you who are doing music in the diaspora outside of Palestine, like what kind of future do you see for that? Or do you see any future?
I would hope that a future of that involves, in whichever way you're an artist, I would hope that it involves Palestinian artists remaining in touch with Palestine and doing something about the situation in Palestine. I think as a Palestinian, that's part of your duty. And to me, I see it that way. Like I have the privilege of being raised in America with so many opportunities, with so many freedoms that a lot of Palestinians don't have. And to me, that's heartbreaking. And I see it accordingly as my responsibility to do something about it. You know, my music's not political, and I don't intend for here's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see the Palestinians in the diaspora making music and supporting Palestine without their music having to be about Palestine. I'd love to see Palestinian artists that are standalone. People talk about them not as, oh, that's the Palestinian rapper, but just as like, that is my favorite singer. That is my favorite rapper. That is my favorite author. And all the while, they're using their artwork to support and to give back to Palestine. I think that that's important for us to be standalone, not just be good because we're focused on Palestine.
Right. And sometimes it could be a little corny. You know what I mean? Like if it's too forced, like if you're an artist and that's all you really do is all you rap about is the occupation.
Every song is Palestine. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't like Palestinians are so diverse. You know what I mean? Like we have so much so many different things about us that make us who we are. It's not just the occupation, but definitely, like you said, I feel the same way about doing something about it. It just doesn't necessarily have to be in the music or in what you do all the time. Like even my magazine, it's not always about the occupation. It's about the good things that are going on with Palestinians around.
So important, you know, because I think that like we have to celebrate our heritage as much as we defend it and as much as we protect it. And, you know, easy for me to say that being someone who doesn't, doesn't live in an area where that's, a challenge. Like I have every privilege you could want, but I agree. Like, I mean, we have to show people, I believe, especially artists, Palestinian artists and wherever they're at, have to show people the beauty of it, have to show people the richness of the culture.
For sure. And what is the I'm sorry, I lost I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man.
No, it's all good, dude.
I ramble on. So I probably threw off the.
No. It was such a great. Sometimes the answers are so thoughtful and great that I just start thinking about that instead of the next question.
And let me know if there's any times where like you're like, okay, like if you feel like we're getting close to something you would love to use, but maybe you want to focus on a different part of it, like you could just cut me off.
No, it's totally cool because actually I love the naturalness of the conversation that we've already been having. It's been 100. I loved it.
Okay,
but like I said, it's going to be a little bit clunky because there are some questions that I think are dope that, you touch on that I want to go right into it, like following it.
Yeah.
Might seem a little clunky, but
no, I'm good with it.
But here's this great question right here from Sem'an. In the near future, Palestine is free. We're throwing a big party there to celebrate. Everybody gets to play some music. What records, not your own, are you bringing to play at the party?
Oh man,
I love this question.
I got chills just thinking about this. Oh wow. Okay. Um. Hmm. I'd love to listen to. Let me think about that. Let me think about that. That's like.
Sit on that, and then we'll go to a more boring question while you sit on that. All right, how about that?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it's a really good question that I feel like you want to think about more. What's the best career advice you've ever received?
Best career advice I've ever received. Um. I think it's to do whatever makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. To me, when I first heard that, it rung so true with me because at that time I was doing what I hated getting out of the bed for. Like I dreaded getting out of bed because I just like did not want to keep doing what I was doing. And then I thought like, okay, what would make me get to a point where like in the morning it'd be like, let's go. And it was that advice, like do what makes you want to hop out of bed in the morning.
And so and right now you're doing that, obviously, right?
Oh, right now I'm at a point where I don't even like going to sleep and I can't wait to get up. You know, it's like I literally fall asleep half the time in the middle of doing my work. And then by the time I'm up, it's like, life feels like a game to me. And I love games.
So describe like a day in the life of like while you're working on your craft. How does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to depend, I mean, on where we're at, what we're focused on, but like a typical day could involve like getting up. I like to do in the morning a Wim Hof breathing. I don't know if
What's
that's
that?
I'll describe it. In the morning, I like to do Wim Hof breathing, which means practice this breathing method. It's about 10, 12 minutes, allows me to clear my mind, meditate a little bit, change the alkalinity of my body. It's incredible. I recommend it to anybody. So I'll do that. It's like a breathing meditation in the morning.
Okay.
Um, get a quick breakfast in, and then almost every day I go straight to writing. Like I just go straight to writing, whether it's writing some like a 16 for Instagram, refining some lyrics. It could even be like writing letters to people. Right. Lately, I've been writing a lot of letters to my fans and just sending them out as part of like giveaways I've been doing. So I'll do that for a little bit. Um, at a certain point in the day, maybe after an hour or two of that, I'd like to record for social media. So if you've seen my posts, so you know a lot of times I'm out in nature. So
Yeah.
I'll go to like a park, bring my little tripod set up, get going with that for a few hours. A big part of my day is freestyling. It's a huge part of my day. So I'll spend anywhere from like 20 to 30 minutes to like an hour in the car just driving around freestyling. And I'll record myself. And then after the fact, I'll go through and listen to the recordings and pick and choose the gold from like what I want to use. So to me, that's sort of like tape review, kind of like how an athlete would watch their tape and then like, figure out where they were going right and wrong. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
I don't really eat that much. so it's like I have breakfast and then all of a sudden we're at dinner and then it's just more working. And it could be on any given day, it could be, I could be getting in the booth and recording something for a song, or I could be, conceptualizing some merchandise, some stickers. I could be, I like to get some exercise in when possible. So, shooting hoops with the homies, but these days it's hard to do that because COVID, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Before COVID, how was the music scene at where you're like out? Because you're
So
outside of DC, right? So like, can you give us a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit of
yeah.
where you're at?
So just before COVID, I had been at a concert at Songbird and I was thinking to myself, like, man, I have got to take that leap. I've got to take that step. Like I got to overcome this fear, hop on the stage and just be vulnerable, no matter how it goes. And cause I had been like going to shows and loving them. And to me, the vibe was there that the scene was like very much so like, I'm fortunate to live in an area that's very like diverse, very open to different cultural experiences, very woke. So the scene was there. Right now, I mean, I think people are still doing their thing on a virtual level, like virtual open mics and virtual
Yeah.
performances. Obviously, it's not the same.
Yeah. Definitely
But
not.
you got to do what you got to do.
Definitely not the same. Um, and then You mentioned the three songs that you dropped. Are those going to be a part of an album that you're working on right now, or are you ever, what's your plan for album or an AP or the next?
Yeah. So it's all part of one mixtape. So Brown Kid, which I made with Thanks Joey and El Bless, that's a part of their album. And so I'm featured on that. So that wouldn't be a part of my first mixtape, but Neverland Fly and Maybe are like the freshman and sophomore singles on my first mixtape.
Cool.
So, and I'm excited to get to that point where I can sort of categorize them as such on Spotify, so people kind of understand like what work belongs in what place. So yeah, I'd say there's probably like 5 or 6 more singles on that first mixtape, and then I'd like to have an album.
All right, but
yeah.
I like to give, like, towards the end of the interview, the person I'm interviewing time to kind of brag about themselves. What have you accomplished so far? Have you gotten any like features you're proud of, or brag about yourself, Anis?
Oh man, I mean, it's not much to brag about myself.
Even the fact that you finished your, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you were saying?
I was just saying, even the fact that, you finished law school, you know what I mean? That's,
I would say that that's something to brag about, but really I just have a high threshold for pain, and I'm very stubborn. Like that's really all that was like, I can do this and I'm not going to quit. And I don't care that I'm in a really dark depression right now. No, for me, I think what I'm most proud of, man, is just the fact that I'm pursuing my dreams. If I can just be completely honest with you, that's what I'm going to brag about. Because if there's one thing I want people to see from me and take from me and maybe be envious of until they take it for themselves, is the fact that I'm living life. I'm living my best life. Like I'm literally waking up every day pursuing something I love. And I know exactly how it feels to not do that. And so it's not much to brag about, but it's something I would like to showcase, because by showcasing it, I'm hoping that it could be contagious. I'm hoping people can see it, because I've had people message me and be like, yo, I'm so inspired by the fact that, you dropped everything to pursue your passions. Like I'm trying to do the same thing, but this, but that, but this, my parents, money, fear, whatever it is. And it all makes sense. Like I totally get it. Every single one of those things went through my head. That's what I'm most proud of. That's what like, if I can brag about anything, it would be that, because I would hope.
No, that's definitely something to brag about, dude. Because that's, like you said, there's so many things, and they're valid reasons that would keep you from pursuing your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely a big step, because, dude, I've lived it, and I'm sure you've lived it.
You know what it is.
People tell us, hey, what I've heard it 1,000 times, you know what I mean? But you just keep going, and you keep fighting through it. I like what you said, I have a high threshold for pain, because I mean, if you're gonna go out for your dreams, you kind of have to.
You got to be ready. Especially, look, as a Palestinian, as an Arab in America, like you got to know, like our ancestors came here to survive, right? So for a lot of them, thriving wasn't even a privilege they had. So for me to be trying to do more than just survive, but to thrive, it's audacious, and it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. But I want this next generation of Palestinian Americans and Palestinians and Arabs in general, if they watch me, I want them to know, like, thriving is an option, and life doesn't just have to be about getting by, Yeah. And so for me, that's what I'm proud of. Obviously that comes from a place of privilege, and I know that, and not everybody is at that same starting point as I was. And so, I recognize that, but depending on where you're at, I want everyone to know that, it's one life. If you don't live it doing what you love, you don't get a second chance. So
100%. I agree with that 135,000%. So
it's a lot of percentages.
I hope you had a decent amount of time to think about this question, but this is basically the last question of the interview, and it's a high pressure question that if you need more time, I might grant you more time. You could send me a video message telling me, but I'm going to ask you one more time before I let you go. Where's my mouse? Oh, I got to ask it correctly. In the near future, Palestine is free. We're throwing a big party. And everybody gets to play some music. What records, not your own, are you bringing to play at the party?
Oh, man. God, this is such a... The problem with this question is not that I don't have an answer, it's that I have too many answers and I want to pick the right ones, you know, because like if you were at the Palestine is Free celebration banger, and you're the DJ, you can't mess up. You know what I'm saying? You can't mess up. You got to come correct.
But like if we're throwing, like if it's a banger.
Okay, so we got to play Dami Falastini by Mohamed Assef. Like that's got to be on there. That's, to me, that's obvious. Yeah. That's got to be there. But, you know.
Every DJ that comes out is playing that record.
Yeah, but like I imagine they have like an auto DJ and then they have me. He's got the Herb tunes covered, right? So I don't got to worry about because like that's not even my forte. He's got that covered.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
Yeah, what are you bringing to the party? What are you bringing to the party?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm trying to balance it. Like, I think like I'm playing X Gon Give It To You. Like that's got to be there because we gotta get like stupid hype at this party. Like we have waited at this point, you know, what almost, you know, over 70 years. You know, we've waited for this liberation since, you know, the 40s. Like we gotta get hype. So we gotta got some DMX in there. Maybe we play some Waiting on the World to Change by John Mayer just to soften the vibes a little bit. Now, this might sound counterintuitive based on the name of the song, but I don't know. To Zion by Lauryn Hill just sounds like something that would be uplifting to play at this party. What else would I play? Problems by Chance the Rapper. Maybe I play Maybe by Myself. Let's see. I probably play Good Morning by No. You know what I play? Can't Tell Me Nothing by Kanye. I play that's probably, I mean that's a little taste.
What would you close out your set with?
Oh man, what would I close out the Palestine is Free concert set with? Oh God.
I'm just putting.
I mean, you could always go with something that like fits the mood, like Rise Up. You could always go with something like that. You could always go with One Day. You could always go with like songs that would really fit that sort of like crescendo, like we're free, let's be happy. But I don't know, like maybe I would want something that bumps more than just something motivational. Let me think about that. I would probably play Kick in the Door by Biggie.
There you go. I think that would be a nice send off.
Yeah, we're headed back home.
Where are we partying? Are we partying in the Goods or Ramallah?
Oh man, I think we gotta party in Gaza. Party in Gaza. Yeah. It's gotta be
on the beach.
Yeah. Oh man, the vibes are there. And you know what? I love this question because you know what? I was tempted to feel bad about saying Gaza, and that's awful. Why should we think of Gaza as a place where no celebration can exist? You know, and I was tempted to think that like it's audacious to say that in a place where there's so many refugees, where there's so much suffering. But this is a vision for a time when Gaza is not overshadowed by that.
Yeah, no,
I love that.
No, because it's a part of our future. It's a part of that freedom future that we're all thinking about. So,
and if we don't think that way, if we don't manifest a free Palestine,
nobody
will. Exactly.
Man, dude, I really appreciate you, dude. This was a fun conversation. I can't wait to listen back to it and get to people. And I can't wait for people that listen to our podcast and read our magazine to get to know you. You're an awesome guy. I mess heavy with your freestyles and the songs that you dropped. Like, I love them a lot. I can't wait for you to give us more content. Sometimes I go back to your Instagram feed and I suggest this to everybody. If things are still up there, I've
seen you supporting me since day one. So don't think I don't see that.
Of course, man. Of course. I had to. Ever since my boy Sam from Palestinian Hustle, he put me on, and that's my guy. So
it would be a shame if his name didn't come up in this interview because there has been nobody more supportive of me on social media than Sam from Palestinian Hustle.
He is the most supportive man and the most genuine man, and
spread love, help others, and always hustle. That's what it is.
100%. He gets all the free advertising.
100%, bro. You literally you could just put, instead of my handles at the bottom, put his. You know.
Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me. Please though, where can people find your music? Where can they listen to you? Where can they rock out with you?
Yeah, so on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, SoundCloud, I'm just going to be Anis. You can just look up Anis, you'll find me. Anis, you can type in a song name with it. But on social media, the handle's always Anis the Rapper. So Instagram, Anis the Rapper. Facebook, Anis the Rapper. Everywhere else, Anis the Rapper. So yeah. But hey, I wanted to say it's absolutely humbling that you would take the time to feature me, to interview me, and to support me. And I want you to know that that's something that humbles me, but also inspires me. And I appreciate it. And I hope to make you proud. I hope to share more content with you. And just know that, like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just getting started. So we're just getting started.
No, 100%, dude. We're going to be talking like this again soon, but hopefully face to face and not
Absolutely.
quarantine face, pads, all this. Hopefully one day, because this month, this is when we have our Palapalooza, bro. And in my head, when I was planning this before Corona, you were one of the names I was going to invite. So that just next year or the year after. So you got to get over that fear. We're in Chicago, yeah, but hopefully in the future, like my dream for Palapalooza is to have it in different cities.
Hey, wherever it is, I'll pull up.
We'll go from Chicago to LA to DC to New York.
Wherever it is, just know I'm there.
My dude, so I appreciate you. I'm glad we got to hook up face to face, and we'll talk soon, my dude. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Take care. Appreciate you always.
Love.
Everything I hate about rappers more of the same lame chase fame type. I just might be that. God forbid it, but I'll admit that I just might be that. Hope this ain't unlikely fact, but who's to say that down the road they won't say that I became the greatest rapper, changed the game, paved the lane. Unashamed, I'm just saying. I'm willing, I'm feeling I could be that. I got a spiritual feeling that maybe I could be that. And if so, I want it bad. I never relax. I put my heart out on this path for every track, more than I ever get back. And I could probably cut my effort in half and spit rap with a slack and still be pinning the tag on the